Here's our Raptors reporter, Josh Lewenberg. Josh, the Raptors coming off a season where they missed the playoffs. They've changed their head coach, and there's some uncertainty here with the roster in the bigger picture. Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, and Trent Jr. can all potentially become free agents next summer. So what are your takeaways from Masai Ujiri today on where this team is and where it's heading?
Well, like a lot of people around the league right now, I'm not sure what the direction is or where this team is headed. We heard a lot of talk today from Masai Ujiri about maintaining flexibility and remaining patient, but we've heard about flexibility and patience for years now. And in the NBA, where things change so quickly, if you're patient for long enough, things can pass you by. They've already lost Fred VanVleet for nothing, and you mentioned their potential free agents next summer. They could potentially lose those guys for nothing as well. OG Anunoby, the Raptors are limited in terms of what they can offer him in an extension, so he'll almost certainly wait until next summer to sign a new deal. Pascal Siakam, well, Masai confirmed that they haven't started negotiating a new deal with him yet. They've put it on the players and basically said after what happened last season, they want to wait to see how Siakam, Trent, and Anunoby look in this new system with a new coach before deciding on their futures. And that's a tough situation to be in for this team because, as I said, you're risking losing more assets for nothing. I think some of the heat is starting to get to Masai just from listening to him today, but you wouldn't know it from their offseason because, for better or for worse, he remains patient.
Now, the team seems motivated to move past last season's disappointment, where they finished 41-41, culminating in that play-in tournament loss. On paper, they've taken a bit of a step back. Darko Rajakovic enters the season with a lot of pressure. Josh, is a coaching change enough to change their fortunes this season?
Well, we're going to find out pretty quickly here. I mean, there are a lot of things that went wrong last season. You can make a pretty lengthy list, but there was that intangible quality that we heard a lot about. Something was missing, whether it was the vibes or the chemistry. Masai Ujiri has referred to last year's team as selfish. Now, the concern is the vibes didn't feel drastically different or drastically better on media day here. You had Ujiri that he was pretty defensive when speaking about this team's direction. Pascal Siakam, he was non-committal about his future with the team coming off an offseason of rumors and going into the final year of his contract. And I'm not sure anyone knows exactly what to expect from Darko and this new system. So it's a lot of pressure on the new coaching staff. Let's put it this way. If the Raptors are able to turn the corner here, even though they've taken a step back on paper, no Fred VanVleet, it's going to speak volumes about how much of last season was on Nick Nurse and their coaching staff.
You got Scotty Barnes entering his third season as a pro, and he reflected on last season being a bit of an energy-draining one at times, and now he'll be paired with a new coach and likely feature more in a new-look offense. So what should the expectations be for Scotty?
Well, in addition to the coaching staff, this is another big swing factor for the team this year. Without those major additions to the roster, if they are going to take a step forward, internal growth is huge, and Scotty Barnes is the start of that. I mean, the expectations are significant here, but I think the pressure is actually down from last season after disappointing to some degree as a sophomore. And listen, I was worried a little bit about Scotty coming off of that Rookie of the Year season, going into year two. I think that sophomore slump is very real. He admittedly struggled with his conditioning a little bit and the ways in which defenses were approaching him differently, but first of all, he comes into year three in better shape, and maybe take that with a grain of salt. Everyone says they're in the best shape of their life on media day, but I do think he learned a thing or two about what he needs to do to prepare differently after what happened last season. And if he can take that next step forward, I think that's going to be a really good thing for this team and probably the most plausible path to improvement.
The Raptors begin their preseason against the Kings. That's on October 8th in Vancouver. Josh, thanks for this.